After a much-needed break, the Rockets look to rebound in the back half of their season, and they start with a weekend homestand against the Mountaineers of West Virginia. Pleasant good evening and welcome inside the Team Toledo Ice House. I'm Ben Wilcox. We had set up a very special guest up here in the booth with us tonight. Edmonton Oilers legend Kevin Lowe could not be here, but we got Brendan Lowe instead for what should be a very fun matchup here between the Rockets and West Virginia. Brendan, the Rockets happy to put November in the rearview mirror. They had some tough matchups against Cleary, John Carroll, Kent State, and Northwood. Swept for the month. They've been trying to find some offense and really just get some energy back, and you'd have to imagine the Thanksgiving break gave them a little bit of the ladder.
And you look at the landscape of college club hockey, Ben, right? And you've got that little Thanksgiving break, but also this is sort of the last push before winter break as well, where these players will actually go home and spend a month at home. So a big chance for Toledo this weekend with, you know, the home matchup tonight and tomorrow against West Virginia, and then Central Michigan coming in on Sunday. It's a big chance to put something together here to end that fall semester. Absolutely,
and like you said, a break that is going to be very welcomed, and a homecoming here as well today for West Virginia's two of their starters, Caden Glamkowski and Cooper Brackett, number 91 and 92, former Toledo Cherokee players. So they got a bit of an ovation and got to watch the Cherokee junior team just dominate a Grand Rapids squad as well as West Virginia gained the zone. There is Glamkowski. He pushes that out well wide, looking for the third man, could not connect. Tommy Woods had a wide open net, but just missed him. Here come the Rockets back the other way as that pass misses Mwamba, but they hold the zone. Up top for Ferreira, his shot on goal covered up by A.J. Golden, your starting goaltender tonight for the Mountaineers. It'll be Braylon Rogers between the pipes for Toledo.
Really good chance there at both ends, Ben. You had the one-timer look for Woods, who, I mean, if he had connected on that was in the back of the net already, but then for Ferreira to come down and put one on goal, I mean, you just want to get quantity up early here, test the opposing goaltender as much as possible.
Long shot from the point, gloved and snared there. I want to remind you this first period brought to you by Stello's Burgers and Loaded Fries. It was a late start here tonight as well. This was meant to be a 9:30 face-off. If you're looking in the bottom corner of your computer screen right now, you'll notice it's not 9:30. That Cherokee game went plenty long. And so both these teams getting a late start, and we are going to be burning the midnight oil here tonight from the Team Toledo Ice House.
We might even make it into tomorrow, Ben.
It is very possible. We can do some time travel here. Puck dumped back in, as in after that for the Mounties, Daniel Schmidt. A long shot in on goal. That one bounced free from Golden. Rebound, they score, and the Rockets not even 2 minutes in with a huge, badly needed, great start. It's going to be Anthony Oviedo slamming it home on the rebound, and boy, did the Rockets need that.
Oviedo really strong. That was just a classic example, Ben, of getting to the front of the net, and he got to do mop-up duty, which is what you love to do as a player, right? You don't have to do any of the dirty work. You just get in there and pick up the pieces, and Anthony Oviedo did a really good job, and like you said, very quick goal for Toledo early into this game, so a strong start can be paramount in these types of matchups.
And this is something through so much of November where we did see their offense come from. It was the greasy goals, the dirty grinds right in front of the net, as forcing a turnover there. Back in, here comes St. Julian, but he's forced off the puck. Ferreira and Josh Bassan getting the assists on that goal. The Rockets getting just the start they needed, as for so much of November they were playing catch-up through a lot of their games. In on the forecheck there was Zach Mizzy. He's forced off. Rockets control, trying to push it up to the point. Good job to hold in a bouncing puck there by Lavrinchek. To the near side and dumped in by Faubert. Pinned up against the boards there. Big hit by Nevin Davio. Gets behind Golden's goal. And this will come all the way back down. Icing going to be waved off as that checked up, and Lavrinchek on top of it. Rockets get a change. Up the near side boards, here comes Myalenko. His shot well wide. And it's coming in, taking a hip check there. Nick LeBeau, old school hip check. back along the boards. But the Rockets hold the zone. Mounties swinging around. Marcus Barber trying to get it out of the zone. Still can't. Good job to hold the line by Myelenko. This one, though, will come around the boards and out to neutral ice. That one finally dumped in by Myelenko, and the Rockets had to change. Here come the Mountaineers winding up from the neutral zone. Lee Haban sends that one in. That gets back out to neutral ice, and Rockets going to try to jump on it. Messier, first one there, has a man going to the slot. And Mwamba, the trailer, could not get the shot away. They get another one off a hard angle. 2 shaves, 3 scout, 3, and they score. It bounces free for Nick Messier. After 2 good saves by A.J. Golden, Messier came up just as they did the first goal, cleaned up the mess, and slammed it home. The Rockets are up 2. 5 minutes into the first.
And that was another really good one, Ben, where you commented on it right away. The hustle from Toledo to get up the ice and into the zone in attack. You know, so often we've seen the Rockets sort of struggle to get going, to get out of the gates. And here tonight, you know, the mop-up duty from Oviedo, Messier gets one there, but the hustle from Toledo is setting them apart from West Virginia early.
At 15:46 of the first period, Toledo goals scored by number 27, Nick Messier. With assist number 7, T.J. Mwamba, number 4, Dante Pellegrino. That's Messier from
Mwamba and Pellegrino going to get the assists. Really, who were just the initial shooters as much as anything. But again, yeah, they're following the play very well right now.
And that's shown in 7 shots on goal already for Toledo to just 1 on the opposite side for the Mountaineers. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better start in that category if you're Toledo.
Packelhofer out wide. His shot deflected, but nearly bounced right to a Rocket stick as Ferinsky put that right back in on goal, but West Virginia back the other way. Here comes Haban, leaves that one for Tommy Woods. They get it just wide of the goal, backed up by Schmidt. Rockets trying to take over through neutral ice. They can't. Haban able to bring it in. The Mounties are onside. Great pass to Woods. And a great kick save there by Braylon Rogers. That took a deflection, and he stayed sharp to it. Here comes West Virginia again. Max Sokol gains the zone. That one takes a deflection back to the near side boards. Rockets look to move quickly. Oviedo will dump it in and head to change. Rockets keeping very short shifts, trying to keep legs as fresh as they can. See if they can build a little more momentum here off an incredible 2-goal start in the first, inside the first 5 minutes. Tied up there, Brendan St. Julian, former Clay Eagle. West Virginia will bring that back out down the boards and into the Rocket zone. Lavrinchik will hold behind his goal. Miscommunication there as St. Julian cut inside for an outside pass. And a nice drop there for Sokol. He gains the zone, but a nice poke check from Faubert, but Mounties get it in, get it close, and bring it on top of the goal. Puck's still loose, and eventually Braylon Rogers got it covered up. West Virginia had 2 or 3 good swings at it, and speaking of swings, we get a few more after the whistle, but they had Barber on top of the play, Ethan McDonough, a few others, and Braylon Rogers stood tall.
And as that play developed, Ben, and that puck spent more and more time out in front of the net, naturally some more congestion, bodies started hitting the ice. You got a little bit of a pile up down low there at the end of that, and we'll see what West Virginia can do. They haven't spent a lot of time in the offensive zone, And so now you get to have a face-off of this and see if you can muster something of this and keep some time of possession down here at this end.
They do get it back out of the zone. Marcus Barber trying to restart the attack, but that comes a little too fast. Whistle here as we get a hand pass called against the Mountaineers, and we'll bring it back out to neutral ice. Rockets trying to push through neutral ice, but both teams a little disorganized. Now the Mountaineers dump it in with 12:46 to go in the first period. 2-0 your score. Anthony Oviedo and Nick Messier, the goal scorers for the Rockets. Scoring inside the first 2 minutes and then inside the first 5. Exactly what they wanted. Quinn, long shot. That gets sticked up over the glass and out of play.
And I think, too, Ben, what you're starting to see is, to me, the difference at the beginning, we're 7.5 minutes into this contest now. Toledo came out very explosive. West Virginia looked a little sluggish. You see them start to get their skates underneath of them here. They're getting better possessions here as the game rolls on. Perhaps just a little time to get adjusted to this contest. We'll see if that continues to happen and West Virginia continues to improve through this first period.
It is a long drive as well, too, from Morgantown. It is a good 5.5 hours to get all the way up here.
A lot of time, cramped legs,
yeah.
Bus.
In what has been some very cold and very dry conditions the last few days around here, as anyone can attest.
It seemed like, too, coming out of the summer, basically the entire fall was warm. Now it's changed.
Messier trying to work his way through both defenders. Nearly did. And left there for Messier, and then he can't get on the same page as Ferreira. Comes back out to neutral ice.
That was a really good missed opportunity for Toledo. If Ferreira could have connected on the end of that, the Rockets had an opening.
Pass gets broken up at neutral ice. Bruno trying to dig away at it there as Chell gains the zone. His shot kicked away by Golden. Bouncing puck there, just could not get control by Messier as he pushes it back wide for Chell. Chell shot well wide. And then a West Virginia player just dropped it straight to Nick Messier. He threw it back in on goal. Here comes Haban. The other way for the Mounties. Haban cannot split through the defense. He's upended. And the Rockets going to look for a quick counterattack. That pass just got tipped before Packelhofer picked it up, and now he's got Oviedo trailing the play, and he can't get it on goal. Tied up nicely there by one of the Mountie defenders. And we got a penalty coming up here as well, too. I had nearly missed it, but there's going to be a slashing call coming against the Mounties. That is going to be Leo Haban going in. First power play of the game belongs to the Rockets.
And that was a little bit of frustration, but also desperation trying to get back into the play because on his, take inside when he had the puck on the offense, he got sent to the ground, got back up, and sort of got caught scrambling, trying to continue to make an impact on the play, and he's going to pay the price for it.
Mwamba near side, quick shot swallowed up by Golden. Shots now 9-4 in favor of the Rockets. They definitely weathered that some of that rebound effort from West Virginia, and now they've got a power play to show for it. High face-off there, nicely gloved down by Pellegrino. Pellegrino at the point. That one thrown all the way through, sticked over into the netting by Golden. 1:32 to go in the first power play.
And this really is a big opportunity. We've seen, multi-goal leads wiped away, but certainly, if you can build that here early and make it a 3-0 game, you love your chances down the stretch.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though it's so early.
No, yeah, to definitely give yourself a good cushion in the first half of the first period. That can go a very, very long way. There's a snapshot into traffic. Puck still loose. Golden got one save. Rebound somehow got blocked. Tip your cap to the Mountie penalty killers. They got in front of everything. 1:10 to go in the Rocket power play. Played to Bassan. Mounties can't clear. Held in by Ferreira. Pushes it out wide for Packelhofer. He has to dump it back down for Chell. Behind the goal, Bassan. And Mounties finally get it cleared all the way down and get a much-needed change to their penalty kill unit.
And I'll tell you what, that sort of scramble there in front of the net, Golden went down. He got sprawled out on his belly, and it was Marcus Barber who kind of stepped in, put his body in the way of that goal mouth. And he did. He prevented a goal down there, so credit to him and what he's been able to do for West Virginia, especially in that moment.
Gaining the zone with 24 seconds to go in the power play. The Rockets throw it out in front, comes all the way to the point. They leave it for Ferreira, and his shot blocked. Good job by Thomas Karen to block that. They send it all the way down. The Rockets are going to get one more rush here before the end of the penalty to Leo Haban. Haban out of the box. Back to 5-on-5. Mwamba's shot deflected. Loose in the corner. That'll be snared by the Rockets up to the point. Trying to cut his way down Pellegrino, but he is watched real closely. That one thrown through the goal mouth, and it ends up bouncing all the way out. And that pass gets by everyone. That'll come down for an icing against the Mountaineers, and they're wondering why that got waved off, as it did seem, Leo Haban had a good lead on everyone. Certainly he was coming out fresh. And so, instead officials are just going to take it to center ice.
And unfortunately for West Virginia, that's an unfortunate situation where, hey, the wrong call was probably made, but the officials are human too. They're going to make some mistakes throughout the course of the contest, and you see them keep the puck at center ice there instead to try to account for as much.
Here comes Nick Bruno. Plenty of speed. Nearly got around his man. Couldn't get the shot away. Good job to square up by Andrew Faber. Faber's pass to the near side. There for Myelenko. Rockets bring it in, but tied up was Noah Smakel. And great diving effort there from Lavrinchik to prevent what would have been a breakaway for Tommy Woods. A very dangerous forward. High shot there, gets behind the goal. We've got 7:34 to go in this first period. Rockets again up 2-0 thanks to Nick Messier and Anthony Oviedo. Mounties back into the zone. All right, this one played in front. Bounces for Sokol. His shot snared there by Rogers. Wasn't quite sure where it was, but held on and now digs it out of his equipment.
And good job. Credit to Rogers there for keeping the vision up, keeping his eyes on that puck, because like you kind of alluded to, hard for you and I to keep track of that up here, but he's got it down right in front of him. There's a reason he plays that spot. He's used to seeing the ice. Credit to him for keeping his eyes locked, especially through the traffic that's littered in front of him.
Yeah, both teams have done better and better as this first period's going on, of getting traffic in front, looking for deflections, looking for screens. It is a very just straightforward, old-school game being played both ways right now. There's a lot to be said for keeping it simple, especially when you are having a later night start like this. Face-off won by the Rockets. Cleanly played from Mwamba up to the point. Forinsky's shot just sails into the corner. Mwamba back behind. He's got Falzer on him. Rockets again doing great work holding the zone. Drop for Mwamba. Mwamba takes a check. But again, the Rockets maintain control. Getting pinned up there. Chell along the boards. Finally, the Mounties able to relieve pressure. West Virginia back through the center ice. That'll be knocked down by Rogers. Officially the 6th shot on goal for the Mounties. Send this one to the near side. That one just bounced away from Packelhofer. They have been very lively boards tonight, too. They've been taking some funny hops. Here's a free shot there. Good blocker save by A.J. Golden. As Packelhofer had nothing but opportunity at the top of the slot. Back the other way. Great shot block that time from Dante Pellegrino. Back the other way comes Toledo. Oviedo gains the zone, but taking off the puck. Somewhere John Tortorella smiling, watching all this shot blocking going on back and forth. Rockets try to throw it back out in front, but that's turned over. But still, they cannot get out of the zone. Held in at the point. Wrist shot took a deflection wide, and that's a good block by Sean Quinn. That caught his arm and just got wide of Golden. Back in on the backhand through the 5-hole. He scores. Dante Pellegrino. What a soft set of mitts to walk down the slot and slide it home under A.J. Golden. It's 3-0 Rockets.
Great sequence for Toledo, and that was a situation where you mentioned the Mountaineers trouble getting it out of the zone. Toledo was almost like they could smell blood in the water. Even when the puck finally did come out across the blue line, you saw Pellegrino get it right around center ice, took it all the way straight through himself. Excellent job for Toledo. And now there's that 3-goal difference, which is huge. A phenomenal start for the Rockets, and that was another really good goal in a little bit of a different way than we saw the first two, Ben.
And that is a great start. And Dante Pellegrino, how about a goal and an assist in the first period for him? As that one bounces a little too far for Caden Glamkowski, the former Toledo Cherokee. His teammate Cooper Brackett, again the other former Cherokee, as that one sent back in on goal. Brackett leaves it to the point. Rockets try to chip it off the half boards, but West Virginia hold it in. Dangerous here as turning shot there, just pushed out wide by Rogers. West Virginia trying to find some kind of an answer here. Rockets do get it out to neutral ice. Bouncing puck there falls for St. Julian. Rockets bring it back in and nearly turn it over here. Dangerous right into the slot for Brackett. He couldn't get much of a shot away, but that is a bullet dodged for Toledo as they nearly gave up a brutal turnover.
And I think West Virginia, now they're starting to have to turn it up. The pressure's on. They're down 3-0 on the scoreboard. You have to get in. You have to make some more concerted effort to try to get to the front of the net. You see their shots starting to build up now as well. They've got to find an answer sooner rather than later here, hopefully for them, before the first period comes to an end.
Oh, what a poke check there by Oviedo to free himself as he comes down, and then he's squared up as the Rockets can't force it any further in, but a tremendous defensive stand there by an unlisted 62 for the Mounties. We're trying to find your name, young man. That was some good work. He comes back in again and puts another block and a hit nicely on Packelhofer. But the Rockets, again, they are buzzing. Under 3 minutes to go. 3-0 your score. Another puck played just out to neutral ice. And the Rockets going to try to come back in quickly. And now instead dumped in as UT goes for a change. And Barber will wind up. Down into the zone as West Virginia again cannot get it cleanly out of their defensive end. They've been very loose with their passes. Held at the point. That wrist shot knocked down in the slot. Who's going to get it? Stays out wide. And finally the net knocked off its moorings. A.J. Golden might have gotten a save in there. But tell you what, say this for the Mountaineers, as much as they've had trouble coming out of their defensive end, they have gotten in front of shots and blocked them like mad.
And Mylenko had a really good opportunity once again for Toledo, and you could see the exhaustion when he was down on his knees behind the net after the play. I mean, he was giving that all he had. I mean, now Toledo, you talk about blood in the water before the third goal. Now they've got 3. They're looking for 4 the way that they've played at the start of this game.
Yeah, Rockets now with 14 shots on goal, and through so much of November, that seemed a couple of times like that was their game total. Sokol gains his own, some nice stick handling of his own there. And another turnover by the Mounties. Here come the Rockets the other way. Pellegrino gets it into the zone, now has some help arriving. But this one will come all the way back down the board. Should be an icing against the Mounties. It will, with 91 seconds left to go in a first period that could not have gone much better for the Rockets. Tied up off the face-off. West Virginia tries to wing this one around. They'll get it out to neutral ice. 1:24 to go in the first. Chell gets it into the zone, but no further. Mwamba cross ice pass there. Almost got behind Messier. Nicely recovered. Back for Mwamba. Great save by Golden, who was way out of his net to cut that down. Here comes Glankowski the other way. Forced off the puck. Can't get the backdoor pass.
And I think for me, Ben, too, the way Toledo's playing tonight, I really like what TK Mwamba's been doing. He's looked good when he's gotten the opportunity to shoot. I would say not a matter of if, but when for him.
Yeah.
I'd like him to potentially get one for Toledo throughout the course of the remainder of the night.
Well, he's certainly going to have chances if they continue to play like they have here in this first. Last 30 seconds, as losing his lumber there was Messier. And the Rockets will force it back down. May check up, will not. Number of the Toledo Cherokee still here watching the game as well, too, after their big win over Grand Rapids.
And Andrew Faubert there, Ben, had just gotten over to the bench for Toledo and ducked down behind the wall as the official pointed him out to come back on the ice.
That's awesome. Can't fault a man for trying. Final seconds taken down. Oh, look out here. What a move as Woods walked in and then fanned on the shot. Woods with an incredible deke to give himself a chance and then somehow just lost it right before he was going to pull the trigger. And Toledo with an incredible start to make it 3-0. Goals from Pellegrino, Anthony Oviedo, and Nick Messier. This was as good a start as they could have wanted.
Yeah, really strong start for the Rockets, and I think, for West Virginia, for me, they're still coming along. Woods, you saw the first one. He wants that one back, and now that great play to get in front of the net, he's going to want that one back as well. Love what you're seeing out of Toledo so far. 3-0 start. Incredibly. I mean, incredible compared to some of the things that you've had to deal with through this season. Now you find yourselves up 3-0 after the first break. Now you have to keep your foot on the gas and find a way to keep that rolling for the Rockets.
Yeah, Toledo's still very much looking for a full 3-period effort game, and so far they have given themselves an incredible start. 3-0 our score. We'll be back for the second in about 15 minutes. Second period on tap here between the Toledo Rockets and West Virginia Mountaineers. Ben Wilcox, Brandon Lowe up here in the Mick Gonzalez broadcast booth. Second period brought to you by Stello's Burgers and Loaded Fries. Face off one by the Mounties as they drop it back behind. We did have intrepid reporter Brendan Lowe go track down for us that Alec Poole is actually now wearing the 7 for West Virginia. Chris Henry is in the 62. So, Mr. Henry, you were the one with those big blocks earlier on, so more power to you for those.
And perhaps just an instance of this is college club
Yeah,
hockey here in the
this is kind of what.
Different uniforms, travel schedules. Sometimes you don't
This
have
is-
all the numbers available. So
This is what happens sometimes. Lord knows you and I have seen it happen in high school plenty often. Sometimes kids just forget to grab their jersey out of the locker.
I've seen it in an NCAA college basketball game.
There you go.
Somebody forgot to throw the jersey on. Coming into this second period here, Ben, I think it's really important for West Virginia to try to find some offense. If you're Toledo, you've done all the right things. I don't think there's much that they can change or adjust for West Virginia. I think it's the opposite. You have to find a quick answer here early on because you're down 3 on the scoreboard. And if Toledo goes down and gets another, then you're down by 1 more. The deficit just gets harder and harder, so you've got to find a way to cut that up.
Yeah, you got to stop the bleeding here. That's a good save by Braylon Rogers. That rebound bounced free. Another shot in. He kicks it out wide, but this is that start. They want another good shot in close. That's 2 of them now by Caden Glamkowski, the former Cherokee, and Braylon Rogers answered him. West Virginia now up to 12 shots on goal. They have definitely had the initial jump that they wanted. Back the other way for Toledo comes Noah Smakel. He takes a ride there from Barber. Nice poke check that time. Nick Messier dispossessing a man. And Mwamba shot gets up high. That was up on its edge and rolling. One of the things to keep an eye on, too, A.J. Golden, he drops very low when he gets into his butterfly. Not that that was any scouting we were getting from the coaches earlier on during the warm-ups. And you can tell the scouting is trying to get high on him.
And I think too, another example there of why I think, TK Mwamba is bound to score one before this game is over. You saw another laser just right off the mitt. If he can continue to do that, one of those is going to find the nylon.
Yeah, he's got a very, very quick release when he does get the chance. Back the other way, come the Mounties 3-on-2 if they hurry, but Haban holds at the blue line. And that shot comes all the way through, and Rogers sees it through a CLX and gets it trapped, and suddenly now the shots are about even. So we are getting that response, that pushback out of West Virginia. A team that has been kind of up and down this season as well so far, and certainly they'd like to find a little momentum here before they go into their winter break. Rockets come back out the other way. Nice pass there and a good open ice hit there from Schmidt as that'll roll all the way in on Golden, and he'll get it covered. As Stouffer has a little conversation there with Packelhofer.
One of the things
Roviedo.
just before we came into this period, I mean, you and I both noted it, but a lot of former Cherokee guys, a couple on the other side for West Virginia, not something you get every meeting. You love to see them going bantering back and forth in between the periods as the team
that was
on the ice.
That was great to see a lot. Anytime you see guys that know each other from their youth days, it's always good to see catch up.
And right now, I think Brendan St. Julian, he's got the advantage. He's going to be able to give his former teammates some of the lip service.
Oh, absolutely. You don't think that wakes up the competitive juices all the more? That's going to be an easy penalty call there as Tristan Packelhofer got somewhere between a punch and a tackle from on high by Falzer. They're going to call it a cross-check, which, sure, you can call it that too. But regardless of what you want to call it, we call it the second power play of the night for the Toledo Rockets.
Unable to score on their first, this is another key to trying to get back in that column and get some momentum going. Even in a 3-0 game like this, you want to talk about maybe there's not many areas for Toledo to improve. This is one of those. You
Absolutely.
still have effective power plays. You know, if not even if just in this game, but in the rest as well. And running that sort of effectively is huge.
Try to throw that one in front, but they couldn't get it to Oviedo's stick. Say this as well for the West Virginia penalty killers. They've done a great job. You see it there again, Alec Poole. They have gotten in shooting lanes very, very well, and Toledo's got to get it around the horn and find some angles to get some clean shots on goal. Throwing it right through the slot. That kicked off the skate of Carbon and nearly went right in. Pinned up in the corner, 1:15 to go in the second power play for the Rockets. Mounties trying to clear it out. They can't. Pellegrino holds at the point. 1 minute to go. Pellegrino shot blocked again. Karen, that's 2 for him. Next shot gets wide. Mounties turn and finally able to fire it all the way down. The long change all the longer in the kind of unique layout of the benches here in the Ice House. You are going quite a distance. You actually have to go offside sometimes in the second period. Rockets gain the zone, dump it back in. 19 seconds left in the penalty to Falzer. Rockets get it back behind. As just dragging stuff there. Chris Henry doing anything he can to slow his man up. Rockets leave it at the point. 2 seconds left in the power play. Shot through. Loose in the slot. Still loose, and a big sliding stop there by Marcus Barber. West Virginia back to full strength. Hartz tried to bring it on as tipped wide of the goal. Braylon Rogers might have gotten his paddle on it as well, too. And now here's a 3-on-1 for the Rockets. Back the other way. Packelhofer, his shot deflected and bounced over the stick of Chell. Fire wagon hockey here, back and forth. But no damage done either way. Turnover there for Bisson, but rest of the Rockets were in a change.
That's back-to-back power plays we've seen, Ben, where the penalty kill for West Virginia, it's been that last line of defense where Marcus Barber's had to come in and make a play. Even
I tell you.
Not the goalie, because Golden was down. Barber picks up the pieces, so commendable play by him on both of the penalty kills.
Marcus Barber, by my count, has at least 4 or 5 shot blocks already in this game. He is going to need the ice bath and a beverage of his choice after all this is done. He has been doing a yeoman's work. They'll bring in Woods for the faceoff for the Mounties. They win that, but Rockets control 2-on-1 if they hurry. Rockets gain the zone. Quick shot, they score! Ripped right through the blocker by Matt Myalenko. It's 4-0 Rockets.
Didn't hesitate one bit. They came in. He had a teammate helping. The defense was trying to get back for West Virginia. Limited that lane. Myalenko didn't even look at it. He went heads up with Golden. Took the strike. Found the top corner. Beautiful goal for Toledo. And now the Rockets up 4. They've extended their lead here. It's been a brilliant first 26 and a half minutes for Toledo.
This is the most efficient Toledo offense I have seen this season. 4 goals on 15 shots. Officially an unassisted goal for Myalenko as they sprung immediately off that turnover right at the top of the zone, and they were off to the races. I believe it was Packelhofer coming down with him. Here come the Rockets again. Myalenko from that same spot sends it high and wide, and he heads off to change. Bruno forced off the puck, but backed up there. They cannot lead it on for Haban. Do hold the zone, though. Alec Poole dumps it in. Blade to the point. Poole, his shot deflected. 12:34 to go. The second period. It is in a game that so far has been all Rockets. Lead pass. Here comes Anderson Parker walking in, and puck got up on its edge. Up over the goal. Was getting a little pressure from behind, and now here comes West Virginia. 3-on-1 the other way. Falzer's shot kicked out. Rebound, a second save by Braylon Rogers. The first save was good. The second was beautiful. Braylon Rogers keeping his body up and staying square for that big rebound. Back the other way, trying to force his way through. Grayson Chell. Eventually the scrum digs out and they form another scrum. Trying to pull it out of there was Josh Bassan. He was doing all kinds of work trying to dig it off those boards. Finally, A.J. Golding gets it covered with 11:33 to go. Arena DJ bringing you all the best of the early 2000s here.
And for Toledo, you saw in the midst of that sort of last shift, that last opportunity, whistle to whistle, you saw Anderson Parker get in there. He hasn't seen a ton of time on the ice for Toledo yet.
You're right about that, yeah.
Even you can attest. I mean, he's someone that we enjoyed watching back in his high school days.
You're right.
Another local kid stepping up to play for this Toledo team and sort of continuing his hockey career. But, I mean, he was a phenomenal player in high school.
Yeah, absolutely. He is officially that extra skater as well, too. Actually coming here from the D2 Bowling Green club team, which, boy, in another generation, that would have been viewed as basically high treason between the two.
So I believe that's AP, myself, and you that have gone from Bowling Green to Toledo tonight.
Right? How about that? Hey, folks, you know what? They pay well. What can we say? It's kind of nice to walk through a back hallway and be handed an envelope that you just put right in your jacket pocket like you're in some kind of spy movie.
The old school mafia days.
Yeah, right? That's exactly. You don't even have to look in there. You know it's in there.
Yep. Toledo continuing to try to pressure you halfway through the contest. I mean, I think for me, in trying to analyze.
Oh, loose puck in front here. They can't get it on goal.
In trying to analyze what we want to see more of from Western Michigan, I think their passing, and I think you could probably agree with me on this, is I think West Virginia's passing has just been a little bit off. They've been here either early or late. The timing hasn't been there.
It hasn't been
something that in the middle of the first period we thought maybe that would come along. They just haven't found it yet, and now we're halfway through the entirety of this contest.
Yeah, it hasn't been crisp either, and that's been the biggest thing, and that's where Toledo have been so good at pinning them in their zone. Again, you see it there, just a blind backhanded pass, that time from Jonathan Stouffer that went right to a Rocket stick. Toledo, too, to their credit, they've put a good forecheck on. They've forced some of these turnovers. That one held at the point as that comes all the way through off the glove. It was Davio's shot initially, and Rogers thought he had it and then realized it bounced free. Rockets the other way. Hard angle shot there, kicked out by Golden. Schmidt out wide. But unable to find Glamkowski. Now he brings it back in with Brackett. The two of them who probably know this rink like the back of their hands. Back the other way come the Rockets. Cross ice pass there. Could not find Andrew St. Julian. Davio winds up. And he'll dump it in with 9:12 to go in this second period. The Rockets again continuing a great run of play here. But that one thrown in front. Haban look for the wraparound, but nothing doing there. Good job by Rogers to seal it off. Talking to Coach Tyler Kudik before the game, said Leo Alban that he is not by any means our fastest guy, but he is a big, powerful body, and you can definitely see it here as he just almost picked up Adam Ferreira. And now he'll park himself right in front of the goal. A good job by Rogers springing out around him to blocker that shot away. I realize the skates and helmets add to it, but Leo Alban looks a good 6'5" out there, and that's going to be a tough body to get out of the goal mouth.
Yeah, and you talk about this is college hockey. These are all men out there.
Oh yeah.
But that is the definition of a man amongst
boys.
boys.
That's a big boy right there. West Virginia as well, too. Bears mentioning they just opened up a new barn in Morgantown, which they've been thrilled about. I think he helped keep their program up and running real well. Do also get to play some of their games in the Wheeling Nailers arena as well, which is frankly got to be awesome if I'm being honest.
And you mentioned getting a new sheet of ice down there, and facilities have become a large part of it nowadays. Is too even at the club level when kids are looking at where they want to go play hockey. I mean, there's definitely kids out there.
Oh yeah.
Look at the facilities and. Everything, what matters most to everybody changes on a person-to-person basis.
Sure.
But,
having a nice rink helps.
Yeah, that's a recruiting tactic.
I mean, look at tiny Adrian College up in Adrian, Michigan. Have about 1,800 kids and somehow have like 7 hockey teams between their men and women up there. Because it's a great barn. It's an awesome place to go see a game if you ever get the chance.
And they're terrific programs, too.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like every team up there has a ton of success.
Their women's team, I think, is one of the best in the country for a while too. I mean, they've had a heck of a program they've been running. A shame as well to see their neighbors, the Siena Heights. They'll be closing down at the end of this academic year. Not sure yet what's going to be done with that campus. A beautiful campus in its own right too.
All new athletic facilities too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The stadium's not that old. The baseball field's got turf. Softball just put in turf not too long ago.
Yeah, it's a
There's
shame
lot
to
of
see.
Fields up there that we could potentially see high schools playing.
Oh, absolutely.
Over the city. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But that's local to us. I mean, that's only about 45 minutes from here.
Wrap around attempt there, forced out wide. Net gets knocked off its moorings. So again, Toledo continue to apply plenty of pressure. Shots 18-16 now.
So it is coming along in terms of volume for West Virginia. They are finding a little bit of momentum, but I just don't think the passing, like you said, it's not crisp enough to get the job done with what they're trying to do right now. But, I mean, go back on the Toledo side. You and I talked earlier this week. I mean, this is a big opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
This weekend for Toledo. If you can come out of this
You've
with
got
2
3
or
home games.
3,
Yeah.
Essentially. I mean, to have all 3 games at home, yes, it's a quick turnaround all within, 72 hours of each other, especially with the late game tonight and the early game on Sunday. It's a quick turnaround. Everybody's going to be exhausted by the end of it. But, I mean, a really big opportunity for Toledo to get moving in the win column, not just for a game, but consistently through the weekend and sort of end on a high note before we get to the second half of the year.
Especially when you are right. Yeah, it's 3 games in 3 days on some fairly short rest, but also you had West Virginia who drove up here 5.5 hours from Morgantown, and your Sunday matinee is against a Central Michigan team coming all the way down from Mount Pleasant. Oh, nice cross-ice pass there. Backhand shot saved by Golden. Beautiful pass right to the slot as they try to spring Webb the other way. Icing going to get waved off. Lead pass there just bounces over the stick of Basson. Son gains the zone, trying to hit the brakes behind the goal, but West Virginia back out the other way. McDonough has Webb with him. Leaves it at the point for Poole. He's forced off the puck and up off the glass. Here come the Rockets. They're just onside. It's a 2-on-0, and the pass can't connect. And hurt after that is Brendan St. Julian. He is in a bad way right now. He needs to get off. I don't know if he pulled or popped something or caught the puck, but hopefully he's going to be all right. West Virginia back the other way. St. Julian looks like he is going right to the gate to the locker room. Says we get some pushing and shoving back in the corner after the whistle.
Likely related to what we saw at the other end of the ice.
Yeah.
That's just teammates standing up for their guy.
Yeah, Brendan St. Julian was coming in on basically, that 2-on-0. It was him and I think Ferinsky. And that shot, I don't know if it popped up and hit him or if a stick came up and caught him or what, because it was a bang-bang thing, and suddenly St. Julian just dropped his stick and barely moved. He's already back in the locker room, and hopefully he's going to be all right. West Virginia is also sending off Cooper Brackett to the box. We'll see if Toledo sends someone as well. Brackett's off for roughing, and it looks like Toledo is going to send Zach Mizzy, I would assume, for the same.
And generally, too, you look at sports and sometimes you'll see a flop. Most of the time in hockey, when a player knows they're hurt, like St. Julian did there,
he didn't move.
Good indication that they're hurt.
Yeah, he did not move at all. And that, thankfully the play kind of moved away from him too, because boy, you don't want to get caught up in that. So we will move to 4-on-4 here for 2 minutes.
And maybe this is what West Virginia needs, some open
Yeah.
space to find their passing. You would say, hey, 4-on-4, it can't make that much of a difference. It
Oh, you'd be
does.
surprised.
There's so much
Yeah.
more space out there on the ice to find the passes, to look for the shooting lane. And so maybe this is what the Mountaineers need.
Rockets do gain the zone, but that one just trailed behind Messier. 90 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. Hartz gains the zone. Got Glamkowski with him. Too, you were talking about that opportunity that Anderson Parker hadn't seen much time. I think he's about to. We'll see if they slot him in on St. Julian's line as walking in here. Shot, rebound, and they score. It does, sure enough, bounce free for Barber, who was just standing all on his lonesome. Toledo left the big 76, Marcus Barber, standing right on top of the slot, and West Virginia bring it back within 3 in the 4-on-4.
And, no more of a deserving guy than Barber.
Oh.
We've seen from him tonight. But also, the old Cherokee teammates are up in the loft on the other side. Glamkowski, I believe, got an assist.
He did.
On that.
That was,
so
yeah.
He got a nice rise out of his buddies.
That was cool to see, yeah.
West Virginia goal scored by number 76, Barber, assisted by number 91, Glamkowski, number 8, Hartz.
Mason Hart's getting the secondary assist there as well, as West Virginia do get on the board. And as you said, yeah, boy, Marcus Barber, as much as he was paying for it with all the shot blocking he'd been doing, that was well deserved for him. That shot well wide, climbs around the boards and back the other way, chasing that Lavrinchik. As the clock ticks down, 4-on-4 is over. Dumping that in, Grayson Chell, and then a big hit put on the forecheck, but West Virginia coming with speed the other way. Here comes Woods. Tried to get around his man, nothing doing. Dante Pellegrino shut it down. Then he nearly pushed Woods into the bench.
And I I really like that matchup. I think Woods, West Virginia's most explosive scorer, but also on the other side, Pellegrino, maybe you're not your best technical defender for Toledo, but man, he is physical.
He's square.
He's not afraid to bring it to you, and he's solid on his skates.
Yeah, his positioning's been very good all night. Passed across. Here's Falzer. His shot blocker save. Juicy rebound there, but West Virginia unable to capitalize.
And that, just talking about Pellegrino, that just it kind of ignores the fact that Toledo's still without Trevor Stokes, who I think is their best defender. He's been a part of the program a long time. Still out on the IR. And
penalty coming here, I believe, against the Rockets. It's going to be a slashing call against Zach Mizzy. He's back in the box, and now I tell you what, West Virginia, they just scored that goal. Now they get their first power play of the evening. Toledo, as you mentioned, being down a couple of guys. Now Brandon St. Julian, he's off as well as they give him attention. And this could be a turning point here.
Big penalty kill for Toledo. And what you look at here is you've seen Toledo a couple of times this season have leads, and they've gone away on them, and they've ended up falling in those contests. So you have to make sure you stick to your game plan here. You can't let the wheels fall off the wagon.
Up high for Poole. Woods, nice cross-ice pass. Wrist shot, blocker save by Rogers. Woods at the point, walks in, drops it down low. Nicely, they score. A great drop pass to set up big Leo Haban for the power play goal. And here come the Mounties. They're within 2. And it bears mentioning as well, looking over at the scoreboard, Toledo have been sitting on 20 shots on goal for a little while now.
Yeah, and you look at what West Virginia's done offensively. Not only have they played better this second period, but I think Toledo has struggled to keep up the tempo and the energy that they have in the first period. So it's just really a big difference in what we've seen out of both teams. For West Virginia, for the better. Toledo, unfortunately, for them, for the worse.
Barber back into the zone. And certainly, you can't keep up a 100% throttle for an entire game. And to your point, there were games we saw in November where, they were going punch for punch with teams until about the third period where they just seemed to run out of gas. That shot takes a deflection up into the netting and stays there. 1:14 to go in the second, and it is suddenly a much different game than it was about 4 minutes ago. West Virginia gets a power play goal from Leo Haban and Marcus Barber, who opened up the scoring for them. West Virginia have definitely woken up. Losing his lumber there was Shea. He heads off. Puck rolls in on A.J. Golden. Thought about playing it, then thought better of it. Just under a minute to go in the second period. And boy, is now the next goal a very big one. Because you have to imagine this is not a game that's going to stay at 4-2 the rest of the way that this is starting, looks like it's starting to evolve here.
Absolutely not. I don't foresee it staying that way. And I think for Toledo, you have to sort of get your feet back underneath you. For West Virginia, you've gotten a little bit of momentum here. You've got the last 2 for Toledo. I think you can take that.
Leo Haban was behind the entire defense, and they just missed him on the stretch pass. How much could that have changed the game right there? Haban gets upended, no call there. Shot through, they score from the point, a seeing eye shot from Alec Poole. I don't know if it caught somebody in front. It's going to be Nick Bruno. He was the first one through the line, so Bruno must have gotten a piece of it.
And we went from the tallest player on the team to maybe the shortest player in Bruno. And now just
boy,
unanswered for West Virginia is huge.
33 seconds left in the second period. It was 4-0. It's now 4-3. This game has completely flipped on its head. Leo Haban getting an assist as well. He's got a goal and an assist on the night. And boy, is it going to be a tight third period as it is now up for grabs. Brackett coming in, getting one last push. They shot. Good save by Rogers. And he holds on to the rebound just as the buzzer sounds. Toledo escapes with a one-goal lead into the second intermission.
Yeah, I mean, big second period for West Virginia. For Toledo, you came out, you got one more, you added on to the lead like you wanted to do, but then things kind of went away on you. And West Virginia capitalized. They're now out shooting Toledo. They've got the volume, and now they've got the quality to go with it, and that's why you see a one-goal game on the scoreboard.
Toledo also, again, they are now without Brendan St. Julian, and they are going to have to hold on tight going into the third period. We'll be back about 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere. great third period here between Toledo and West Virginia. This third period brought to you by Stello's Burgers and Loaded Fries. Shots are 25-21 in favor of the Mountaineers, who were down 4-0, and then suddenly goals from Nick Bruno, Marcus Barber, and Leo Haban. Haban's on the power play, have suddenly made this an entirely different game as that puck got caught up in the equipment of Pellegrino, finally bounced loose.
And I think, too, Ben, we talk about what both teams need to do. I think for right now, you know, if you're Braylon Rogers, you kind of had a collapse there as that second period went along. You've got to have short-term memory. You've had about 15 minutes or so to go back to the locker room, try to lock back in. For him, you got to kind of forget, as hard as it is.
Yeah.
You got to forget what happened in that second period. Come out and do what you did in the first again. You know you're capable of that as well. So if you look back and you remember the second, you've got to look back and remember the first as well.
That's very well put.
Strive for.
Come back in, quick shot there, held by Rogers off the stick of Alec Poole. He got an assist in some of that big offensive explosion there. As we get some more pushing and shoving there, as Pellegrino is trying to push Cooper Brackett basically into the open door of the Toledo bench. And are they going to send them both up? Brackett. They're going to send Brackett into the box. You feel like that's got to go both ways. Sure enough, yeah, there Dante Pellegrino does wind up going. They might just be both the officials telling the both of them to knock it off. And sure enough, 47 seconds into this third period, we're going to go to 4-on-4 again.
Which, if you'll note, that was what got West Virginia's scoring started. When we talked about it, hey, what will open ice do? It allowed West Virginia to get one. They haven't looked back since.
In Toledo, since that 3-goal stretch from West Virginia, they have had one shot on goal, which is something that they are definitely going to have to pick back up. As this one comes around back out to neutral ice. But West Virginia for sure have got all the momentum back on their side after an explosion in those final 6 minutes of the second period. Here's a great play in front. That one just bounced away from Adam Ferreira. And Toledo wisely, too, after that puck bounced free, had 3 men back in a heartbeat to see if West Virginia was going to counterattack. Now they do, but unable to pull the trigger there was Chris Henry. Charging back in the other way was Haban. Now trying to dance his way in, Oviedo. Nothing doing for him, but Rockets did gain the zone, but not for long. Coming back through, here's Poole on the backhand, takes a check there. He's forced off the puck. Here comes Bassan. Bassan a 1-on-3 to the forehand, but couldn't bring it in front for another Rocket. That was Oviedo coming in. Final seconds ticking down in the 4-on-4. And we are back to 5-on-5. St. Julian winds up. That's Andrew St. Julian. It was his brother Brendan who went off. Sure enough, no, yeah, you just pointed out Brendan St. Julian's back out there. That is awesome to see. So hopefully whatever had banged him up earlier on was just a stinger.
I'm sure whatever it was, it'll still require some ice after.
Oh, no kidding.
Such a key piece
That's
for Toledo to have.
huge to see. Yeah, I was confused there for a second as you were pointing them out and saying, oh, hey, there's both the St. Julians. The St. Julii, as it were. Yeah, no, as you said, though, that is absolutely huge for Toledo to get him back. Played in front, and how about that? Brendan St. Julian had it right at the top of the crease. But A.J. Golden getting out and getting square to swallow it up. How about that for a return for Brendan St. Julian?
Ears ringing, nearly found the back of the
Oh, boy.
And that right there just shows you kind of what a key he can be. And I still think for Toledo, you've got to find more. You've got to get back to how you played this first period. But when you can get looks like that down there in front, still haven't registered a shot yet this period, but you're kind of knocking on the door of where you need to be. Yeah,
that one from St. Julian should have been, as that did get in on, and yeah, they're up to 22 now. But yeah, this was kind of the story of it was really the story of November for the Rockets, was that their third period, their offense just dried up. So we'll see if they can find an answer to it. Again, too, they do have the lead. It's not as if they've got to build a huge one, but they do have to keep that, at least that offensive momentum, that possession going, like we saw in the first. Played back behind the goal. The Rockets have done a good job holding the zone here for the last 30 seconds or so. That one loose on the top of the crease and forced out wide. Held in again. Good job to hold the zone. Rockets come out again just wide off the wrist shot from Myelenko. And Mwamba explodes through the stick of Ethan McDonough.
There was some recoil on that.
Seriously, that thing came. TK Mwamba is a big body, and he just went right. He blew that stick of McDonough right away, a good 10 feet. It was a heck of a pop. Yeah, McDonough does hop the boards to go grab his stick. And sounded like it might have been another unintentional icing call, so we'll just take it right to the center. 15-10 to go in the third period. We're going to manifest that it's 15 minutes left to go in the game.
That's always up for argument. Of course.
Yeah, none of us are getting paid by the hour here, folks.
It's a little bit different now too. You know, overtime has kind of changed over the course, and you know, the one thing I will credit, I love the fact about hockey is you've got to have a winner. I like the shootout. I think it's, you know, you and I both do a lot of sports, but my biggest gripe with soccer, which I guess, you know, is similar to hockey in its own right, is that you can end in a draw now in high school and college.
Yeah.
Unless it's the postseason.
Yeah, obviously you got to play it out. Yeah. Yeah, I called the St. Francis St. John's District Championship this year that went all the way almost to the end of the second half of overtime. Here come the Rockets back in the other way. Messier can't get the shot off. He got tied up nicely from behind. And Haban's pass goes well wide of Bruno. Bruno nearly brought it out on the backhand, but that's poked off his stick. But to that point, that was with John Orozco, who's been a long time both coach and official, and who said Ohio high school playoff overtime rules, they play longer than the colleges.
They do.
In some cases, which is absurd, frankly, because every one of those kids after that, I mean, it was a great matchup, don't get me wrong, but everybody was gassed as soon as it was over.
When I saw, I had the MAC championship a couple weeks ago. I believe you actually filled in for me here while I was.
Yeah, I think I did.
And I had Bowling Green go 107 minutes, double overtime their first meeting. They went to penalty kick shootout in their second meeting, and then they lost in the conference championship to Western Michigan.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, you don't play any overtime all season long, and this is my biggest gripe with it. You don't play any overtime all season long, and then you can play 2 or 3 double overtime shootouts
In the playoffs.
and it exhausts you because you're not used to it.
No, you're used to a certain pace, a certain length of the game you play. And it's hard to dig deep, especially repeatedly, as in come the Mounties offside.
And they used to do overtime in the regular season, and they changed it, and now you just have that hard stop. So I'd like to see them do more of what hockey does. I get that it's a little bit harder because I think in soccer you have more of an advantage as a shooter even than you do here on the ice.
Oh, yeah.
But I just think you got to have a winner, and then also by doing that, you know, you get some experience in overtime before you get to the postseason.
Rockets gained the zone with plenty of speed. Oviedo on his backhand tried to feed that out in front, bounced off the side of the goal. Back and forth there, Josh Basson was looking for a pass. They do hold the zone. Basson can't get it back on his stick. Now he does, but again, West Virginia, they have gummed up the works very well, kind of right through the slot. $12:20 to go. Shots now 27-23 in favor of West Virginia. He's gaining the zone, dumping that in. Cooper Brackett. Played to the point. That one takes a deflection, rebound, and 2 good saves by Braylon Rogers. Then he gets it covered. 12:02 to go.
And you still almost get a little bit of a sense that Rogers is on edge. Which,
Oh, yeah.
you know, when you've seen a 4-goal lead go down to 3 and you're the person there in the crease, you feel a little bit responsible for that.
Oh, for sure.
You know, you have to find a way to just try to forge forward. Do what you did right there. It might take you an extra second, but you've just got to keep pressing and try to keep that puck in front of you because you do. Ultimately, it's not a 4-goal lead, but it is still a 1-goal lead. You have some space. Granted, not a lot, but you're out in front. It could be worse.
Absolutely. Toledo trying to throw that one in front and unable to get that home. Andrew St. Julian. Brother trying to throw that one in front of the goal. That was paddled away by Golden. Bounces out to neutral ice. That pass misses everybody, and that'll go as icing.
And Bruno and Haban skating right next to each other.
Oh, yeah.
That's Aaron Judge, Jose Altuve baseball recreation.
Laurel and Hardy, whatever you want to call that is. Those are... That looked like Penn and Teller out there.
If you lined them up all in size order, that's one end of the line and the other end of the line. But credit to both of them. I think they've both gotten better and better.
They absolutely have.
Gone along. I mean, Haban has stood out, you know, from the get, but Bruno's played well as well.
Andrew St. Julian, incredulous despite taking basically the 2 hacks right out of the gate. His brother will step in. Face off one there. Sokol's shot forced away. It's St. Julian tied up and still tackled down there with Daniel Falzer, and they're still going at one another. Both the St. Julian. Oh, that's hard to see. Brendan Julian's hurt again. And his brother was not happy about it. He just tripped up that same one, Falzer, and they're still going at Falzer. They are not happy about Falzer going after that hurt shoulder of Brendan St. Julian. And there's going to be plenty of penalties now. Andrew St. Julian is furious right now. Andrew St. Julian is in. You'd have to imagine someone's going for West Virginia, but Falzer's skating back to the bench. We will wait to see what comes of this. Adam Ferreira and Daniel Schmidt waiting to hear from the officials. Still so far nobody in the box for West Virginia. It might just be a slash. You know what? How about this? It's only going to be that slash that because when Andrew St. Julian tripped up Falzer coming into the zone, and I don't think they're calling anything else.
Yeah, and I think this is a way to kind of limit that because
you know what?
When you get into that skirmish afterwards,
there's no way you're going to be able to call it even, realistically.
You have to give something to everybody or nobody.
Yeah.
You opt for the latter.
The clear, and that was the initial call. To be fair, too, that had the initial hand go up from the official.
And that, while not to the full extent, was the sort of payback. Hey.
Yeah. That was the initial. Yeah, that was absolutely the initial answer. So it'll be the second power play of the evening for the Mountaineers. They scored on their first. Maybe most importantly as well, too, for Andrew St. Julian, it's only 2 minutes. Because he could have easily had others added on to that, potentially a 5, if they really wanted to come down on him for all the extracurriculars.
Does it make it any easier in this situation for Toledo?
No.
That you're up just 1? No, not really. But, again, another situation where it could have been worse. Now you've got to kind of look to your penalty killers, say, hey, we need you guys to step up.
And look at this. They got Falzer out there right up at the point as well. A huge, huge penalty kill here for the Rockets. Up at the point now, Poole. Falzer, what a pass for Haban, and he just couldn't get it on goal.
He rung it off the crossbar, too, just completely.
Boy, it was a nice play. Woods will circle. Leaves it up for Poole. Falzer, cross-ice pass. Good job to get the stick on it by Ferreira. And then Ferreira puts a body into a man. They play it back up to the point. Wood.
Just watching the penalty box. Rogers, a good stop there. Just watching the penalty box. The way the ice house is set up here, you have the back hallway, which is right behind the benches. So you saw Andrew St. Julian sort of tuck out and look down because the athletic trainer sits right back in that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So he stepped out and checked on his brother there too. So credit to him for standing up for a younger brother.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially that's not when it's not just a teammate, but your literal brother, seeing him get hurt earlier and then thinking he's getting targeted in that same spot. You cannot blame him one bit for just going off.
And I'm guessing throughout the course of their hockey careers, they've done that song and dance.
Oh, 100%. There's no way that's the first time that's happened.
And meanwhile, Falzer continues to be a menace. Now the rest of the team is kind of taking awareness to that.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing that build a little bit.
Well, and the other side of it, too, is that, frankly, while you do have him out there, you know who you also had was that big Leo Haban. And I'd imagine that is a very calming presence to anything that might tip off.
If you had to handpick a teammate up on the ice, definitely for West Virginia, you'd think Haban is at the top.
Holy cow!
Unless he's a gentle giant, man. We don't know, but he's played.
And sometimes those gentle giants are the ones that basically they're just pulling the guy. They're pulling one of the teammates right out of the thing. Like, you don't want this right now. Yeah. In come the Mounties. And what a pass in front and a great trailing kick save, and then they throw it off the crossbar. Braylon Rogers with a huge right-legged kick save. That took a big deflection off the tip in front, and if not for his toe, it's a tie game.
And that was Cooper Brackett, so you saw Glamkowski get sort of his flowers early. And while the old Cherokee crowd has thinned up there in the loft, there are still some remaining. So Brackett nearly got his chance.
Some of that, as they do get St. Julian out of the box. And granted, too, for some of that Cherokee team, it might be past their curfew. It's nearly getting to midnight here.
we are going to tick past.
Yep.
We're going to go from Friday into Saturday. So these two teams are actually going to be on the ice twice the same day, which is kind of funny.
Oh, boy, yeah. Yeah, West Virginia, they're staying, I believe it. We were talking to a couple of their guys before the game. They're staying in one of the hotels over at kind of 475 in Dussel. So they've got a pretty good drive back after this, too. And you have to imagine they are all going to be wiped.
I'm guessing curfew for breakfast, or I'm guessing they might miss the continental breakfast
Just,
in the morning.
yeah, they just might. Told them to get over to Bangkok Kitchen at some point for lunch. Get some real good food while you're in town. Here come the Rockets the other way. Packelhofer tried to dance around a man, but met there nicely by Chris Henry. There's Leo Haban playing again, maybe the role of basically a Steven Adams out there. If you're a basketball fan, that everyone just kind of says, "No, you know what? I don't need to try him out." Rockets 2-on-2 the other way. 7:44 to go. They still have the 1-goal lead, but West Virginia have been threatening. The intensity has only picked up as well, too, as this third period has gone on. Rockets in again, blockered away, that time from A.J. Golden.
I will say, if you told me we were going to make it nearly 13 minutes now into the third period without a goal yet,
right,
I would have said you were crazy. But I mean,
seriously,
defenses have stepped up. We've gone through 4-on-4. West Virginia's had a power play. I mean, both teams have had opportunities to score and just haven't done it yet. So credit to the defense.
Yeah, and to both goalies too. You guys, yeah, I'm with you. I would have thought this would have turned into a track meet, the way that it was going. But hockey's a hard sport to predict. Don't bet on it, folks. It's one of those sports that you're never going to do well with it. Laid to the point here. Held in by Stouffer, and Mwamba couldn't get by him, but the Rockets will clear the zone. Dumping that in, Nick Messier, one of the goal scorers. He's got a second from an impossible angle. Nick Messier throws it in off A.J. Golden. I think Golden thought it was going to go around behind the net.
And Golden can't believe it.
Oh, my goodness. With 6:33 to go in the third, Nick Messier threw that from just above the goal line. A.J. Golden thought it was heading around. It must have caught his leg or something. I have never seen something like that.
And beating himself up, too. He
Oh.
was very frustrated. They got caught in child's pose there afterwards. I mean, it's a tough goal to let in, but if you're Toledo now,
Oh, you will
the
take that.
odds once again, because you get a goal like that, it's, like you said, impossible. Basically,
Oh.
that is such a difficult goal. I mean, now you're up 2 again, and you have all the momentum in the world back on your side because you finally feel like you've got something to go your way.
TK Mwamba getting the assist there, and that was a rolling, dangerous puck there that Braylon Rogers was able to corral. And again, we mentioned that unpredictable nature of hockey sometimes, and sometimes it's things like that just come completely like a bolt out of the blue.
And that's where we go back to quantity. Just put
Yeah.
quantity on net. That was a shot that maybe you don't even like to take, but you put it on net, and hey, that's what happens. It can find the back at any time.
Very much they don't ask how, they just ask how many kind of thing. And here come the Rockets again. It's a 2-on-1. Andrew St. Julian walking in, cross-ice pass, and it got deflected, and A.J. Golden swept it away. Back the other way, Glamkowski. They dump it in. 5:45 to go here in the third. This will come down. They're going to wave off icing. Having to come all the way back for it, Davio. And then their stretch pass just brings it into the zone. Glamkowski intercepts. Played it in front and unable to pull the trigger. Yeah, Glamkowski and Brackett have matched up well all night, as you would imagine. And tripped up there, nothing called. Toledo bench, not happy about that. But we play on. 5 minutes left. Here comes Klamkowski again with Brackett. His shot takes a deflection. That caught the arm of Adam Ferreira. Henry winds up, gains his own. Rockets get fresh legs. Henry with Bruno. Off the side of the goal. Big Leo Haban comes on his one-timer just wide. I don't think Rogers saw it until it got behind. It pops out in front and he gets it covered. 4:39 to go. West Virginia, they are pushing.
And I'll tell you what, I like it almost seemed like after that little altercation with Falzer and Brennan St. Julian, Toledo has stepped up. They have this sort of attitude era vibe to them. They've stepped up. They've been more physical. And I think that has bred a lot of confidence on the side for the Midnight Blue and Gold. I'd love to see it. Now, how can you use that to close out the last 4 minutes and 39 seconds? And you're going to have to do it short-handed.
Sure enough, yeah, they do send Adam Ferreira off. That may have come from some of the extracurriculars there after the whistle, and he's the only one to go. Here's an enormous opportunity for West Virginia with 4:39 left in the third. They've got Falzer, Haban, Bruno, and Poole out there on this top power play unit. There's Woods as well, teed up from the point, deflected wide. They are up 2, so this isn't exactly a must kill for Toledo, but it's about as close as you could get to it.
And Ben, one of the things, I want to ask you, we're sort of in that range late in the game. With a power play already, do you consider pulling Golden early?
I was thinking the same thing, and right now the bench has not looked at him. Golden's just sitting back against the crossbar right now, but there's no way they're not thinking about it. Haban drops it there for Poole. And back up, rolls past Poole, and getting on his high horse there, Packelhofer almost took it away. Woods walked in, taken down. Haban holds the zone, but we're going to get a whistle as that one gets up into the rafters with 3:36 left in the period, 58 seconds left in the penalty to Ferreira.
And I think this says a lot for West Virginia about where you feel confident. Clearly,
Yep.
They don't feel confident enough yet in what they have to pull Golden and put an extra man on. I know you'll talk to some coaches and they'll say, what's the difference if we lose by 2 or lose by 3? There isn't one. So interesting to me that they're leaving him in. I know we're kind of on the outside of that window, right? Still 3.5 left.
And they did score on their first power play as well, too. Davio. Second unit out has Shea. Shea shot just crawled wide. Rogers got a piece of it, and that was just enough. Shea has to force it back. 36 seconds left in the third power play for the Mountaineers. Through center, here's Hartz. On the backhand, throws it on goal, and that one's forced out into the corner before Rogers could cover it. Davio, his shot takes a deflection. Shea leaves it to the point. 17 seconds left. One-timer blocker save by Rogers. Upended there, no call, and it'll get into the netting for a face-off to the right of Braylon Rogers. 9 seconds left in the power play. Toledo very close to killing this back off. West Virginia's going to bring that first unit back out.
As we get this face-off, Ben, we have turned the calendar on days. It is 12 a.m. on Saturday, December 6th now to kick off 6-7 weekend.
How about that? You're so proud of yourself for that, aren't you?
That's the second game I've worked that into tonight.
Well done. I'm going to give you that. Buck played into the corner. Toledo have killed the penalty. Step one is done. Here they come. Now some offense back the other way. Packelhofer Left it behind, but that's going to get turned over to Bruno. We'll keep an eye on A.J. Golden as West Virginia gained the zone. Shot in, blocked away by Rogers. Packelhofer tried to fight his way through the defenders.
And as soon as West Virginia can push the possession into the other end,
You'd have to imagine they're going to call him. Yeah, 2:05 to go as Haban. Nice spin move there by Haban at the top of his own zone. But again, they can't get it in deep. And Golden's got to stay in his net. But now they're going to get the chance. This comes down for an icing with 1:50 left. And you'd have to imagine, yeah, even A.J. Golden's just asking him, like, you're pulling me now, right? Can't really blame him.
he's going to desert Golden Island, and they're going to opt for the extra
Right.
second. Except they can't decide who it's going to be, and I think they're going to call time.
I'd have to imagine. I was kind of surprised they didn't earlier, and now they will. Shots 37-26 in favor of the Mountaineers, but Toledo have gotten the goals when they had to have them. Again, they were up 4-0 and were in really, honestly, they were in some danger of really blowing things, but they held up. They bowed up, blocked some good shots, got a couple very timely saves by Braylon Rogers, and then suddenly just scoring an absolutely wild goal from a nearly impossible angle. Nick Messier may be the hero of this game if they hold on here for these last couple minutes.
And while we get ready to come back out here, Ben, real quick, I want to, I know we've split time this year and you've filled in for me in the past, but want to thank you for filling in the games that I haven't been able to make.
Oh, happy to do it.
Go take some other opportunities and do some work with other programs, but it's been awesome to sit here, right?
100%. You and I haven't called it games together in a little while now. This is awesome to get back in. 1:50 to go. The net is empty for the Mountaineers. Extra man out. And face-off won by the Rockets. That's huge, as getting it out of the zone was Myalenko. 100 seconds left. West Virginia need 2.
You have to be really tactical here, playing this deep with that empty net.
And forced off the puck. Good poke checks there. And now the Mounties will get it in. They've got 1:25 left. Hartz can't flag it down. Does get held in at the point. Leo Haban throws it in front. Hartz shoots. Big save by Rogers. Then they score on the rebound with 1:15 left. Don't go anywhere. It's officially Mason Hartz putting it home off the rebound. It was a great initial save by Braylon Rogers, but the one thing you might knock him for, his rebound control has not been great tonight. We've seen a couple of times that West Virginia have nearly done exactly that.
And the Mountaineers inch closer. Golden will go back in for the center ice face-off, then he'll come back again. But now how big is that goal?
Oh, boy.
Parallel goal. It would be the game winner if the score stands, but I don't know that we've seen the last of it.
I'm not entirely sure either, quite frankly, as this one bounces into the West Virginia bench. 1:10 to go. Caden Glamkowski getting his second assist, and Leo Haban his second as well. A goal and 2 assists for Haban tonight. As this one wings around, Toledo able to hold on to it. 1 minute left. And now Mwamba able to jam it up. There in the corner, just wasting all kinds of time. TK Mwamba, who's only hit, he's got 2 assists tonight, put through and just wide. 38 seconds left as West Virginia have to fire this all the way down, but that's, no, icing waved off. How did they wave that one off? But Glamkowski somehow beat it out as they do get Golden off. 23 seconds left to go. Puck loose in the slot and forced down into the corner. West Virginia digs it out. They bring it to the point. Shot through. We've got a penalty coming up as well, too. 10 seconds left. If you're West Virginia, let Toledo touch it, frankly. They finally do. Toledo is going to have one more penalty kill with 4 seconds left. This game is ending, if nothing else, incredibly interesting.
You've got one more opportunity here if you're West Virginia, but not a whole lot of time. You've got to have your play, and you've already used your timeout.
It's Pellegrino who goes off. Right now, if you're Toledo, win the face-off, win the game.
Yep, it's as simple as that.
Question might. Oh, they're also going to send. Yeah, Glamkowski's going to go. Well, that's huge.
So offsetting 5-on-4.
Oh boy.
Man,
Yeah. Considering what it could have been, that's a big help for Toledo. But yeah, as you said, it's officially 5-on-4 with the empty net. And look at Braylon Rogers had to fix something in his equipment. And I'm not sure. They're saying now they're pointing at something.
There's a puck at the other end.
Oh yeah, nobody grabbed the puck.
I wonder if Falzer just tries to shoot here off the draw.
You know what? I wouldn't blame him.
I mean, he's been one of their best shooters tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Win the face-off, win the game. 4 seconds left. Can the Rockets hold on? They get it out to center ice, and the Midnight Blue and Gold finally get back in the win column. After a November to forget, they weather the storm from a West Virginia team that stormed back. They were down 4-0, and sure enough, Nick Messier, on the most unlikely goal you may ever see, winds up being the difference.
And I'll tell you what, Toledo lined up and took a shot the distance there after the whistle. Both teams had some words at center ice. Night 2 is going to be fun.
Oh, boy, it is going to be a huge one tomorrow, but a big sigh of relief for the Rockets. They made it interesting. They always do. But they come away with the W in one that they needed in the worst way. That will do it here from the Team Toledo Ice House. Toledo's back in the win column. My name's Ben Wilcox. He's been Brendan Lowe. Thanks for watching.